Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville, Fiber Internet, Security Solutions, and Voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk, people with student loans have to start repaying them this weekend.
Millions of students across the country are entering into repayment. It's very important that they start that process early.
Ahead, how borrowers can get information about their repayment options. The Farm Bill funds a range of things from crop insurance to food assistance programs for needy families. But the deadline is looming for Congress to pass the bill.
This is kind of deemed a farm bill, but really at the end of the day, it's a food bill.
What happens if lawmakers don't pass a farm bill before Saturday's deadline? Musical legends take the stage in Indiana to shine a spotlight on family farmers.
And so I know how hard it is, but I know how good it is when you do it right.
A look back at last weekend's Farm Aid. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines from across the state, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Federal student loan payments resume Sunday. More than 900,000 Hoosiers who haven't had to make payments for 3 years will be affected. During the payment pause, a lot has changed. Loans have switched hands. Due dates are different. Aubrey Wright reports how Hoosiers with college debt can check their federal loans and prepare for upcoming payments.
It's been over 3 years since federal loan repayments were paused because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The freeze is ending for more than 900,000 Hoosiers. Indiana is one of the most generous states in the U.S. when it comes to financial aid, but some still struggle with the cost of college. The Commission for Higher Education reports Indiana college graduates average about $25,000 of debt. Chief of Staff Josh Garrison has a message for people with payments due. Don't wait.
In October, millions of students across the country are entering into repayment. It's very important that they start that process early.
Garrison encourages borrowers to visit the federal student aid website, learn what income-driven repayments they qualify for, and prepare their bank accounts for online payments. InvestEd Vice President of Communications and Student Services, Bill Wozniak, knows this is a confusing time for borrowers. InvestEd provides free, personalized advice for Indiana families, students, and borrowers dealing with the cost of higher education.
Students and borrowers and families, they always think that they're the only one with a question or that everybody else knows the answer and they're the only one who doesn't. And it's not true.
Several initiatives from the Biden administration are intended to make loan repayments easier. The new SAVE plan is an income-driven repayment program that benefits low-income borrowers. Those who miss a payment before October 2024 won't hurt their credit scores or default on their loans. Wozniak says some people may qualify for loan forgiveness or repayment programs other than the standard 10-year plan. They just have to examine their options and opt in.
But steps have to be taken, and that's why we're here, to help people and try to make it understandable and relatively easy to do.
Loan providers are required to reach out 21 days before a payment is due, so keep an eye out. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Aubrey Wright.
Joining us now is Aubrey Wright. I've read in your reporting that people should know the details of their loan repayments, but what should borrowers do if they don't know much about it?
Yeah, the first thing they should do is visit the Federal Student Aid website. That is going to be the hub for any and every student loan question. All of their information, personal and loan information, is linked to their Social Security number. So if they know that, then they'll be able to find who they owe and what they owe. And then they'll also be able to find their total balance and what repayment plan they're on.
So some people may not want to pay those loans after 3 years. What about those people?
Yeah, it's not looking great for them.
Yeah.
Experts know that this is going to be a really rocky time for most people. There are some safety nets in place for people who miss their payments in the first year, but they still have to make those payments. The balance isn't going to go away and interest is going to accrue. If you really can't handle your loans, you might want to apply for a deferment or forbearance.
Okay, so now what about the SAVE program? What's everyone excited about that? Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, so the SAVE plan is a revamped income-driven repayment plan. So this is something that's going to benefit people who don't make a lot of money and want lower monthly payments. With this plan, people will pay 10% of their discretionary income, different than your regular income. For example, people who make $15 an hour, they're going to pay $0 a month. And applications are open right now.
Okay. We got to go really quick, though. What do we know about student debt in Indiana?
Yeah, it looks better than some other states, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois. When people take out loans in Indiana, it's about $5,000 a year. And state leaders really want to keep these costs down, and they believe that the value of college outweighs the cost.
Aubrey, thank you so much for your reporting. Appreciate it. Well, every 5 years, Congress has to pass a new farm bill. The current one, dating back to 2018, expires tomorrow. There's a lot at stake if Congress can't agree on a new version. As Clayton Baumgarth reports, if you grow food or depend on someone who does, chances are the bill has something in it that affects you.
Chris Temple is a farmer based out of St. Croix, Indiana. His family farm deals in all of the Indiana staples: corn, soybeans, and cattle. The Temples also deal in the typical hardships that come with the job, from flooded fields to droughts.
We planted a couple hundred acres of corn May the 4th and May the 5th this year. We ended up with about 4 inches of rain 2 days after that, and the corn just got flooded out.
For Temple and farmers around the state, the Farm Bill provides services that are crucial to their operation. Of major importance is the provision on crop insurance, which covers the loss of crops due to extreme weather or other events.
We're paying 50% of the premium. The Farm Bill pays 50% of the premium. You know, if we had to pay 100% of the premium, we could not afford to carry that insurance to help us get these.
Temple and his family had to draw on crop insurance this year for the flood out of their corn. In 2012, they had a much larger draw on the service when a drought turned their usual 160 bushel per acre crops to 12 bushel per acre crops.
Yeah, if we wouldn't have had crop insurance in 2012, I don't think our operation would be in existence today. So, and not only 2012, there's other years that it has jumped in and helped out.
Crop insurance helps in an indirect way as well, putting protections in place so farmers can get much needed business loans.
A lot of banks, I think, look at the crop insurance portion. I don't know if we could get an operating loan the size we're getting without crop insurance. And you know, if we ain't got the operating funds, you know, that's going to put our operation in a large bind too.
And that's how important just one provision within the Farm Bill is for agriculture. Other important provisions and programs to rural America focus on conservation, rural broadband, and rural child care. Brantley Seifers is the National Affairs Coordinator for the Indiana Farm Bureau. He says those rural-focused programs only make up 15% of the Farm Bill.
For most people, the biggest part will be the SNAP program and the nutrition title. This is kind of deemed the Farm Bill, but really at the end of the day, it's a food bill. And so the SNAP title makes up anywhere between 80 and 85% of the bill. So that is the largest title.
For the last few months, lawmakers have been debating over the Farm Bill in an attempt to have it signed before the September 30th expiration date. You might think that means a lot is going to change in the 2023 Farm Bill, but the reality is the bill remains largely unchanged from 2018.
Right now, we're looking at the first $1 trillion farm bill, and it's actually $1.5 trillion. So it's a very large bill. And so the conversation's not about what programs to cut or add. It's about which programs are going to be getting funding, more funding than maybe they did, or updating that funding levels.
Not all hope is lost, though, for the SNAP program and others lined out in the bill. There are two expiration dates to the Farm Bill: the fiscal year expiration of September 30th and the crop year expiration of December 31st. The country won't feel the effects of an expired farm bill until early 2024 when dairy subsidies take the first hit. That's good news because between those two expiration dates, lawmakers have time to vote the bill into law or approve an extension to continue working on it.
2018 is kind of following the similar path that we are now. I believe they had an extension because it has to go House, Senate, but then usually a conference committee because those always don't come out perfectly aligned. So you actually have to do a second round of votes before it can go to the president for a signature.
For Temple, the lack of positive movement on the farm bill is frustrating, especially considering many farmers are content with the bill as it currently stands.
For right now, I think if we can get exactly what we got in the crop insurance program in the next farm bill, everybody's going to be happy. So, and that's kind of the main goal we're shooting at right now. So,
for Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Clayton Baumgarth.
The 2018 Farm Bill wasn't fully signed into law until late December, just before the holiday break. Cipher says this year's Farm Bill will most likely follow a similar timeline and go down to the wire. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Bloomington's mayor is hoping the courts will allow annexation on the west side of the city to proceed, but opponents are pushing back. And music legends are showing their support for family farmers.
What do you say, Indiana? It's getting better by the time.
These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
I'm originally from Mumbai, India. I also grew up in Singapore before moving to the US for my undergrad. The exciting thing about doing a master's here at IU was that I found WTIU, WFIU. I got to help produce Indiana Newsdesk, which started off just helping the producer, and then it led to some weeks when he was out, me producing the show. Having people on the team that have been doing this so long, that really helps because, you know, they catch those mistakes and they teach you how to not make those mistakes again. Sarah Whitmire, who's the news bureau chief at Indiana Public Media, connected me with Gretchen Frazee, who works at PBS NewsHour. So she used to work here at Indiana Public Media. She ended up saying, you know, why don't you apply? So that's how I ended up getting a broadcast assistant position at PBS NewsHour. Hi, I'm Kayan Tara. I really am grateful for my experience here at Indiana Public Media. I encourage you to support the next generation of journalists by supporting WTIU.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. The city of Bloomington is hoping a court will rule in its favor and allow annexation of a couple areas on the city's west side to proceed. County Residents Against Annexation is responding to Bloomington's request to dismiss a lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of a 2019 law that ended up voiding some of the city's annexation attempt. Now, the city is hoping by dismissing that case, the court will proceed with an annexation trial on areas 1A and 1B. Those areas were not able to void annexation, but did reach the threshold to appeal in court.
With this strategy where we drop a piece of the constitutional litigation and say, let's just go to trial on 1A and 1B, we're confident that the court will say, yes, it makes sense to annex those.
County Residents Against Annexation President Margaret Clements says attorneys filed an objection to the city's request Friday.
If the stay were lifted, it could result in inconsistent rulings. 2, that it would be unfair to the petitioners. And 3, that the request to lift the stay is motivated by politics rather than sound legal reasons.
There's no timetable on a ruling. Now for the latest on this week's top stories, Callie Lichter joins us with headlines. Hi, Callie.
Hi, Joe. The Indiana Hospital Association says hospitals are at a financial breaking point as state lawmakers begin a deep dive into Medicaid funding. The new state budget improved the Medicaid reimbursement rates for physicians this year, but now IHA's President Brian Tabor says hospitals need more support from the state.
As the burden on hospitals continues to grow to fund our very low base rates that haven't been raised in 30 years, as we fund more and more people that are on the Healthy Indiana program, we're paying actually more for that program over the next several months as people come off of Medicaid. And so my concern is that we will not have hospitals and services for Medicaid patients.
Tabor says the state could reduce a surtax it charges hospitals to help pay for Medicaid, though it's likely some lawmakers will balk. He says Indiana could also learn from other states that are doing more to leverage funding for Medicaid. State lawmakers recently established the Medicaid Oversight Committee to do a deep dive into a program and its funding issues. The Bloomington Police Station is up for sale. Bidding starts next month. The minimum price is $2.2 million. Money from the sale will help pay to move the police headquarters to the Showers building. Construction on the Showers project is expected to begin before the end of the year and be complete by next year. It's been about 7 years since the Environmental Protection Agency found a chemical used to sterilize medical equipment and spices was a lot more harmful than the agency originally thought. Long-term exposure to ethylene oxide can cause blood cancers and breast cancer, but the agency still hasn't finalized a rule limiting the chemical at commercial sterilizers like Cook Group Incorporated in Ellettsville. Now it will have to do so by March. An attorney with Earth Justice says the EPA needs to take action now to protect people and particularly children.
And as children grow, their cells are dividing, and that's the process of growing. And when you have children that are breathing in ethylene oxide, as their cells divide, their risk of harm and their risk of cancer is significantly higher.
Proposed changes would require all sterilizers to meet the same requirements regardless of how much ethylene oxide they emit, and those that emit more than 10 tons would have to apply for a stricter permit. Monroe County officials seem to agree on a proposed location for a new jail, but residents who live near the site don't want it in their neighborhood. George Hale reports.
Dozens of residents attended a county listening session to register their opposition about the site on Bloomington's southwest side. One woman who identified herself as Aisha told Sheriff Ruben Marte that she moved her family to the area to build a better life than she had growing up.
You will literally be putting what we're trying desperately to escape right in our backyard.
The property on the west side of Rogers Street is near Switchyard Park and the RCA Community Park playground. Sheriff Marte acknowledged the residents' opposition to building the jail in the area, but urged officials to come up with a solution sooner rather than later. He says the current jail in downtown Bloomington is deteriorating. He also wants a new facility to offer more programming to prevent recidivism.
We got to make sure they don't go right back into the same cycle where they came from.
A firm hired to design the new jail is reviewing 3 other sites in addition to the Thompson property in southwest Bloomington. They include the former IU Health Hospital and 2 other sites outside city limits. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm George Hale.
Bloomington's Gateway project is still on hold despite the mayor saying it's already a done deal. This week, the city's Board of Public Works postponed voting on a land and sidewalk closure request for the project. It's the second time the board has done so. The decision follows public criticism against the project based on its more than $1 million price tag and utility. It is unclear whether the board will consider the item again at its next meeting. The project has already gone through the city's Arts Commission and Parks Department. A judge found a former Indiana University student guilty of trespassing in the 2021 insurrection at the Capitol building. Anthony Vo was found guilty on 4 charges, including entering restricted building, disorderly and violent conduct in a restricted building, and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Vo's sentencing is set for December 18th. A new record has been set for the number of firearms stopped at Indianapolis International Airport this year, and it's only going to get higher. The Transportation Security Administration has found 75 firearms at security checkpoints this year, and in most cases, they've been loaded. When an agent finds a gun, they have to close the checkpoint and wait for police to arrive and take possession of the weapon. Passengers can face steep penalties for a firearms violation. The maximum civil penalty is $15,000. TSA PreCheck also may be revoked for at least 5 years. The Indiana Department of Natural Resources hopes to educate hunters about how using lead bullets threatens scavenger birds like eagles and vultures. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Rebecca Thiel reports the DNR has set up a webpage and planned a social media campaign encouraging hunters to use less toxic ammunition.
Birds and other wildlife that eat game killed with lead shot can have issues flying and reproductive problems. People who rely on wild game for food can also suffer health issues. Though federal law doesn't allow hunters to use lead bullets to kill ducks and other waterfowl, they can still use it for common game animals like deer and squirrels in Indiana.
I think a lot of people want to be, environmentally friendly or want to be careful about what they're doing and may not have thought about that carcass that they leave in the woods.
It's unclear how well the campaign will work. The DNR says though lead bullets aren't that much cheaper than less toxic ones, there are not enough bullets without lead to meet the high demand for ammunition.
These kind of regulations aren't that far-fetched, and we just need to take the first step towards doing that, and the market will shift accordingly.
For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Rebecca Thiel.
The education campaign was inspired by a citizen petition to prohibit all lead shot from being sold in Indiana, but the agency says that's outside its authority. And Monroe County school leaders want the district's high schools to be on the same schedule. Bloomington High School South is currently on a trimester schedule, and Bloomington High School North is on a block schedule. In a letter, the district said the change would fix disparities and biases that occur because the schedules are not aligned. But several hundred students have signed a petition urging MCCSC to rethink the idea.
The ability to choose which schedule you want, I think, is also something that would be better for equity than aligning everyone to a schedule that may or may not work out for individual students' needs.
An MCCSC spokesperson declined to comment on the proposed change because she said nothing has been finalized. And Joe, students say the uncertainty is causing a lot of anxiety amongst students, teachers, and families.
All right, thank you, Callie. Well, there was a lot of star power in Noblesville last weekend for the annual Farm Aid Benefit Concert. After more than 2 decades, the show was back in Indiana. As Ethan Sandwise reports, some of the biggest names in music took the stage to raise money for small farmers in crisis.
The lawn of the Ruoff Music Center gradually filled with concert goers taking advantage of sunny skies and a star-studded lineup. Willie Nelson, Neil Young, and John Mellencamp were just a few of the stars who took center stage, but Nelson made clear that farmers were the guests of honor.
When I grew up in Abbott, Texas, where I worked on a farm. I picked cotton, I pulled bowls, I baled hay, I did all that stuff. And so I know how hard it is, but I know how good it is when you do it right.
What do you say, Indiana? The fish are getting better by the time. The king's getting better by the time.
Farmers are doing everything they can do, but without the people behind the farmers, it's not going to work.
The idea is you have soil, in this case like this. Capitalism is really nice on paper, but in reality,
More than a dozen acts entertained the crowd, including a surprise performance by Bob Dylan. It was Dylan's first Farm Aid appearance in nearly 50 years. Nelson, Mellencamp, and Young founded the annual benefit concert in 1985 to help small American farmers. The fundraiser supports a crisis hotline and provides immediate services to families in crisis. According to the Department of Agriculture, family farms accounted for 98% of all farms in 2021, but those who inherit them have to adapt with rising input costs and climate change to stay afloat.
My parents could make a living wage, feed their families, and educate us. Whereas today, it's about sustainability and making enough money to maintain the farm.
Blackwell Bowen is adopting climate-smart and sustainable practices to keep her family's North Carolina farm alive.
I returned to a family farm after a career in corporate America, and it was all about a family legacy. It was all about keeping a family farm.
Sabrina and Sylvester Friend came to Farm Aid with their young daughters, Skylar and Shiloh. Sylvester left his job at Amazon 3 years ago to become a farmer.
We wanted to have a more sustainable lifestyle and a bigger impact, positive impact on people, and food is one of those necessary things, and that was something that we were passionate about too.
2023 was a difficult year for farmers, with massive floods in the Northeast and heat waves in the South. The war in Ukraine has also driven up fertilizer and fuel prices, hurting farmers' bottom line.
It's in the hands of the people of the world to support the farmers, to support everyone who's working for a better tomorrow.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Ethan Sandweiss.
Farmers in crisis can reach the Farmer Hotline at 1-800-FARM-AID. That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville, fiber internet, security solutions, and voice in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. lawmg.com. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.